Uh, oh, hey, it's working. We got YouTube today.
Yay!
Alright, where's our books? Do we have any weird comic news for today? I know Swamp Thing is coming back to the CW. They're just re-airing the first season, but that might lead to a second season. Oh, I can take off my mask so the deaf community can read my lips.
I heard the DCU is now going to do just mostly comics and all the HBO stuff.
On the Unlimited, yeah, all the HBO stuff's supposed to move to HBO, or all the TV shows are going to move to HBO Max. Yeah.
Black Widow got delayed to May next year.
Oh, Black Widow delayed.
Yeah.
That's rough.
Yeah,
I
May
didn't know
7th,
that.
I think. So basically, more or less, the time it would have been this year, just next year.
Yeah. It was coming out in November that I was always
Yeah,
saying.
they're going to push it out to November because of the whole COVID thing, and then they're like, today, like, yeah, we're pushing it out again.
No, but there's something else that's supposed to be coming out in November that I'm pretty hyped about.
Wonder Woman.
Wonder Woman, yes. No, I can't remember.
The Black, I think Black.
I'm talking about movies.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Can't remember. There's something in
I
November.
don't think it was a Tom Cruise movie.
Black Widow, is that when they're releasing that one?
No, May.
Oh, that's what got
Yeah. I can't remember.
It was supposed to be like Eternals or something was supposed to come out this fall. And then Black Widow took its place, and then now it got delayed, so it's pretty much going to shift everything over a whole year.
Yeah. Oh, well.
More time for the Guardians movie.
That's true. When's Moon Knight coming? Still next year?
Isn't that going to be on Disney Plus, though?
Yes. They need to release Moon Knight like yesterday.
Now.
Right now.
I want more Moon Knight.
I want, because a Moon Knight TV show will lead to Moon Knight, more Moon Knight comics, more Moon Knight love, more Moon Knight merch. Maybe I can finally get a Moon Knight hat.
There isn't a Moon Knight book right now.
No, there isn't. Not since the last one, which was like Fear and Loathing and Moon Knight. Did you read it?
No.
Oh, wow. It was weird. I loved it, but it really didn't feel like a normal Moon Knight. Like he was drugged for half of it, and like one of the things, like, because he was being tested by that cult, I can't remember their name, but he's like locked in a room with a shark tank. Yeah. And he's like hanging out with the shark, and it's like 1 day passes, 2 days passes, 3 days passes. He starts like drinking the water and stuff like that. It's like 4 days passes, 5 days passes, and he's like killing and eating the shark. And then 6 days they come in and they're like, "Hey, it's time to go. Stop eating that shark. It has rabies." It's like, what the hell? It was just ridiculous. Yeah, he's in the Avengers right now. That's true, Virgilio. He's kind of bringing them to their knees. It's been great. Wonder Woman is now December, apparently. So, okay, first book on our list for this week for Marvel and Indies is Doctor Doom. Finally, Christopher Cantwell, Salvador Larroca, Guru Effects. I feel like it's been a while. It's been a while, hasn't it? It's been like May. But Doctor Doom is back. He's got a whole new sort of look. I like his new mask. It's very brutal. And he's decided he's going to rally the troops, and he's going to find people who are only loyal to him before he moves back into Latvia and taking his throne back. And it's been good. I've had a good time with it. I will say, though, that the beginning of this run was like really hysterical. It was like Doctor Doom being funny and stuff like that. This has definitely taken on a more serious and much more darker tone, which I mean, it's what you expect from Doom, but it's also not it doesn't feel like in the same vein as the beginning of this series. So I don't hate it. It's just a very different flavor from him rolling around calling people picnic ants and stuff at the very beginning. So I had a good time with it. The art, wow, the art is so good. I mean, yeah, Salvador Larroca, it's amazing art. Nothing to complain about art-wise. The story's great. It's just darker. You need a little more dark in your life for that one. Next is, I love the Rest in Power, Chadwick Boseman, little banners on each of these comics. This one is Maestro, and this is Peter David, German Peralta, Dale Keown, Jesus Avertov, and Jason Keith. And I wasn't so sure about this. I'm not a giant fan of the alternate dimension Hulk, Maestro thing. And I wasn't too terribly sure about them dusting off this character, but plus the first issue was a bit confusing. He like woke up and he's just in apocalypse scenario and he's just got to sort of figure out what's going on. This picks up and explains a lot more, and I actually had a really good time with this. So as somebody who is not a huge Maestro fan, do Maestro fans really exist though? Is that a thing?
Marty Martinez.
Oh, Marty Martinez is a Maestro fan. That's right. Okay, so there's one Maestro fan that we know of. But I, as somebody who's not a Maestro fan, I'm actually super interested in this character and had a good time. He felt like a Devil Hulk, if I'm honest. Banner with a bit more control. Next is Archie Comics, Archie Forever, and this is Kelly Thompson, Veronica Fish, Andy Fish. Oh, a couple. Oh, lovely. And Jack Morelli. And of course, we're talking about Sabrina, the Teenage Witch. Now, it's not the same dark Sabrina that we're used to. It's gone back to the old Archie style, cartoony Sabrina. But this one does get a little dark. I'm not going to lie. She winds up casting a spell for invisibility to sort of get some info on what her aunts are doing, and doesn't weigh the consequences before. And with magic in the Archie universe, you always have to weigh the consequences. So something crappy is going to happen. You know something crappy is going to happen. That's the game here. So it was good. It played out right. It felt exactly as it should. And they watch a horror movie, and then one of the scenes kind of feels like a horror movie, and that makes sense. So good writing, good art. The art is great. Really have nothing to complain about as far as the art is concerned. It's really good. I just wish it felt like the darker stuff that was on the shelves a couple years back. Next is, oh man, another Chadwick Boseman. Wow, he was born in 1976, the same year as me. I'm the same age as the Black Panther. I love that. Okay. The Immortal She-Hulk. This is Al Ewing, John Davis Hunt, and Marco. Who's it? Marco Menez. And this was awesome. Yogi, you said this is a one-shot, right? You think it's a one-shot?
Yeah.
I want more. I want so much more.
That's what they wanted.
We know from Immortal Hulk that came out a few weeks back that, the leader is pretty much the one below all, and the leader has kind of been wearing Banner's father's skin. And so he's kind of the mastermind behind everything so far. And we saw him in Immortal Hulk actually turn a green door into a red door. And the implications were not fully explained, but it hints at the fact that you don't get resurrection after you walk through this door. So it's a little creepy right now. And so he's at play here with She-Hulk, and She-Hulk is sort of grappling with the fact that, she's died a few times, and it's not quite clear how many, and she's not quite sure how to cope. So who do you talk to about dying a few times in the Marvel universe? That would be one. Wolverine, man.
Oh, God.
Yeah. So her and Wolverine decide to have a beer and discuss death. And, she finds that he's not quite so eloquent, which we all know. He's not quite so eloquent. He's also not quite so tall. I love reminding Wolverine fans that he's short as hell. No reason. No reason at all. It just entertains me. He's not what? He's pretty short, though, dude. Like, his character, every single time I'm like, man, Magneto is just towering over Wolverine for good reason. Just short. Anyways, so Immortal She-Hulk, the art was great. The art was actually on point. It's almost not gritty enough at times, which is kind of weird for me to say, but there were times where I was like, maybe it could go a little grittier. But the storyline was great. I mean, it's written by Al Ewing, and it's not like he's just the current god of Hulk. He's the god of all things green and the Green Door. And I think we're all going to give Ewing respect and say that when he wants to do an offshoot, he does a pretty damn good job. So come pick it up. It's totally worth your money. Next is the Invader Zim Quarterly. And, this centers around Dib and his dad, if you can't tell from the cover. And, Dib, experiment. Oh, my God, we got to catch the alien. Haha, Dib, you're crazy. Aliens aren't a thing. we all know this song and dance. That's what happens in here. You get another. It's just pretty much like living through or reading through another episode of Invader Zim, and it's good. Gur really does steal the show as usual. So if you're an Invader Zim fan, I don't think you'll be disappointed with that at all. Next is Rick and Morty Go to Hell. Ferrier, Oraza, Stern, and Crank. And, well, it's okay. It's okay. It looks like one of the episodes of Rick and Morty. This one doesn't read like one of the episodes of Rick and Morty. It's a bit dark and less fun, which it's not. I don't know. The Rick and Morty mainline comics are not my jam, and usually these kind of comics, like the D&D ones or any of the offshoots, tend to be the stronger parts of the brand. This one, though, not so much. They're still trying to get to the bottom of why they're in hell, and meanwhile, Morty has had enough of Rick's shenanigans. So, yeah. So it's okay. If you're a Rick and Morty fan, come pick it up. If you're anyone else, it is wholly skippable. Next is Dan Panazian, Mariana Ignazi, and Fabiana Mascolo. I can never pronounce names. I'm so sorry. And Unkindness of Ravens by Boom Studio. And wow, honestly, this was an awesome showing. The art was pretty good. The storyline was, well, a little bit weird. It centers around a gal who she's going to high school and it's her first day, and she's finding that she looks exactly like a missing girl, like exactly. And they even give her the same locker. And there are some other people. There's two groups here. She can be in with the popular kids who, hang out with the jocks and stuff like that, the cheerleaders, or she can be in with the Ravens, who apparently know magic and are witches. So who should she choose, the awkward ones or the popular ones? This is a comic. She's probably going to choose the witches. But even though it's kind of tropey at times, and I could sort of predict the way the story was going, I will say I had a really good time with this. And I don't tend to really like too much high school fiction. It's just not my jam, and high school was not my favorite time in life. But this one was actually pretty fun. I had a good time with it. The characters seemed to really sort of shine off the page. It was entertaining, and by the time I reached the end of it, I wanted to know so much more. So yeah, good showing, guys. I will definitely be picking up number 2, and we'll have it here. Next is, man, dude, these banners are just getting me. They look so awesome. Like the Stanley ones were very awesome, and these ones are awesome too. Anyways, Spider-Woman number 4, and this is Pacheco Perez and Damata. And, well, actually, this one's kind of awesome. I know, like, the last couple ones I was like, not... It's kind of, the story seems a little bit all over the place. And yeah, she's sort of grappling with the fact that, her mom's alive and some other family's alive, and she's got to get to the bottom of it. Meanwhile, she's got something wrong with her DNA. And in this issue, well, we get an Octavius in play. So that's interesting to see. She's got her own auto. It's not really an auto, but a female version of Otto in play. And that was kind of cool to see. I actually had a really good time with this. There was a lot of action, really big twist at the end that was kind of shocking, and the art was really good. So I will say I felt like the last couple issues were sort of all over the place and a bit weird at times, but this one in particular, it actually hooked me, and I had a really good time with this. So Spider-Woman, yeah, come pick it up. Plus these covers are really awesome. Like, wow, that's something you could put on your wall. So at any rate, we will have copies of it here. Hi, Cam.
What's up, man?
Next is V. Claymore, Stefan Molnar, Thomas Maurer, and this is Miles to Go by Aftershock Comics. And lately, these Aftershock comics have been pretty good, and this one is no different. I will say the art was kind of weird. There were times where it was like, oh, this art is dope, and then I'd flip the page and I'd be like, this is weird. And I couldn't put my finger on it, what it was. This story itself centers around, well, there's a couple of hitmen, some other hitmen, a kid that's a hitman, and it's not really all explained, but they're sort of tying up loose ends, which sort of put them on the collision course with a girl and her mom. So yeah, that's what's going on. And there's hints, you see secret files at the end of this, that there is some kind of hitman program, not really fully explained. So yeah, it was entertaining. The two hitmen that are hanging out and tying up loose ends and complaining about things and talking about how things aren't getting done had a very Pulp Fiction vibe. It really felt like John Travolta and Samuel L. Jackson just BSing through the story, and I was really entertained by it. So miles to go. I will say I'm still on the fence because the art's got me on the fence, but the story had me hooked. So I'm still gonna read part two. Next is J.J. Abrams, Henry Abrams, Sarah Pacelli, and Dave Stewart. And this is issue number 4 of Spider-Man. Yeah, the Abrams saga. And it's out after like a year. Do you remember what happened last time? Because
No.
I don't. I totally forgot. This is some alternate timeline Peter Parker where he's got a son, he's missing a hand, which we already argued about how that's weird with the mythos. And then the girlfriend. Oh yeah, his son's got a girlfriend. Yeah, she's got powers too, I guess. And there's all types of weirdness. And this is no different. It was weird. It was a bit all over the place. And by the end of it, I was like, there is even a giant spider in play. Like there's some weirdness going on here. And it was a little confusing, especially, I mean, after like a year hiatus trying to like pick through the story. The art's good. The story is just weird. I don't know. There's nothing that really stood out to me and said like, oh, this is an outstanding like Spider-Man story, and it just got a little strange at times. But it's father and son creation, and it's J.J. Abrams. I mean, what do I know? I mean, J.J. Abrams. So, but we'll have that here if you want to come pick it up. Next is a book that blew me away, quite literally blew me away, and I'm glad it did. Fabian Nicieza, Ron Garney, and Matt Mila. And this is Juggernaut, issue number 1. And wow, what a good story. Did you read our sign, by the way? Yeah, please go read our sign before you come in.
Oh, yeah, if you saw that, you're good.
Oh, yeah, okay, you're good then. Just letting you know why I'm not wearing a mask.
Oh, yeah, we saw that.
Okay. Okay. So this story in particular was amazing. I mean, it centers on, Juggernaut had his gem ripped out and what he had, sacrifices he had to make to come back from that. And he's got kind of a suit upgrade too. On top of that, he's doing his thing, but the very beginning of the book opens with a statement that I thought was kind of profound. And I'm going to paraphrase because my memory sucks. But the statement was, I spend all this time just destroying buildings. It's about time I just sort of learned to pick up after myself. And then it opens and he encounters somebody that he thinks is a mutant. And he's like running her down and she's like, get out of here. And he's like, no, like, let me take you to Krakoa. Like, let me help you. Like, let me just get you to where with your people and stuff like that. And I thought it was like, wow, like as a character, Juggernaut is always a really, really complex character. And like his lore is very strange, but at the same time, you can tell that even though he's not always agreed with his brother, he loves his brother. And that's one of the things I like about the character. And so they're giving him a lot more depth than we've come to expect from Juggernaut. And I loved it. I had such a good time with it. It was honestly awesome. So, yeah, issue number 1, I'm going to be paying attention to issue number 2. I might even subscribe. I had that good of a time with this issue. So, yeah, come pick that up. Next is The Galaxy's Deadliest, The High Cost of Revenge, Bounty Hunters. And this is sort of full circle. The entire series opened with the fact that there was a botched bounty that they were supposed to bring somebody in or capture somebody. And even Boba Fett got betrayed during that time. What are you looking for? The card reader? I don't know where it's at, man. Oh, okay. Even Boba Fett got betrayed at that point, and Valance was like, well, like he's mad about it. They're all kind of mad about it, but I guess the person that betrayed him was like sort of Valance's swing or heartthrob, I guess. Lash is her name, I think it is. The characters' names are weird. The story's weird, but it's Star Wars. But what I will tell you is that this is full circle. This is the wrap up where Boba Fett is trying to get his revenge, and meanwhile they're trying to figure out what exactly happened originally, why they were betrayed, and all of that is explained in this issue. So I'm happy to say that happened. I'm still not happy with the fact that the main character is essentially a Terminator in Star Wars in the Star Wars universe. But whatever, I'm getting used to it. He doesn't like it when people call him a droid, which is all types of funny to me. So yeah. Issue number 5, Bounty Hunters. Honestly, the strongest of all of the issues. But then again, I'm really partial to Boba Fett, so you can take it with a grain of salt. We'll have it here. Next is a book that, my God, we wanted perfect copies of. Hickman, Howard, Larez, and Gracia. But God help us, Cam, if you ordered this book this week, X of Swords Creation. You're probably not getting it from us because all our copies came damaged and we have to order replacements.
Oh my God, why?
It's terrible news. But what's not terrible is the story. Now, if you don't know what was happening, there's a new gate on Krakoa. It's called the Open Gate. I think it is. The Open Gate. I can't exactly remember the name of the gate, but it's tied to mutant lore. Whereas Apocalypse went on to wind up on Earth and eventually, wind up in the paradise Krakoa. His wife went on and took some of the other mutants and his children to a place called Arrakis. It's sort of they have Egyptian like themes and stuff like that. It's in Otherworld though, and the thing about it is, whereas Apocalypse somehow, even though he made the sacrifice for them to get out of there, somehow wound up in a paradise eventually. Their land is anything but. It's a living hell where there are constantly creatures fighting them, and they're constantly fighting them back. And some of them have been fighting so long that they've just turned animal-like. And pretty much the mutants have to decide, because this is a gate that is opened to Arrakis. I have no idea how to pronounce that. There's this gate there, and it's connected to Krakoa, and they're concerned that gate it doesn't play by the same rules. Anyone can come through that gate, and so while the mutants want to close it, Krakoa actually has the last word here and says no, because Krakoa is also in love with Arrakis, the land, whereas Apocalypse is in love with his ex-wife or his wife. They got separated from. So what a twisted and very Shakespearean web this is, and it's great. It's great. I don't tend to like the other world stuff all that much. It's strange. It's weird. It's sort of all over the place. Sometimes it just feels like they just throw fantasy motifs here and fantasy motifs there, and then whatever sticks is what they go with. This, on the other hand, was awesome. Had a great time with this. I was not bored whatsoever. It fleshes out more of the mutant lore. There is, of course, a giant betrayal, because what would it be? And eventually it's going to lead to a big sword fight. So there's nothing to complain about here. This is Hickman doing what Hickman does. A lot of twists, a lot of turns, and a lot of fun. So, yeah, we'll have it in about 2 weeks when we get replacements. Shame. Next is another damaged copy. Thankfully, it was only one. This is Zdarsky, Mobili, Olazaba, and Iacono, and this is Daredevil. Now, I haven't reviewed Daredevil in a while, and the reason being was it had a really strong opening, and then the carry from it after that seemed a bit tiresome. It's the usual Daredevil trope of, wow, am I fit to wear the mask? I'm not fit to wear the mask. I'm not going to wear the mask. Oh, but the city, she pulls me back into wearing the mask. We all know this. It's been done a million times.
3 times last year alone, right?
Oh, man.
I mean, Daredevil.
Yeah. If you take off the mask, Daredevil, you're going to put it back on. Anyways, this issue, thankfully, was not like that. It felt like it was getting back to its roots. It was Daredevil, kicking butt. And at one point, we've got a very comical Tony Stark, and, the usual villains are in play. Mayor Fisk is still Mayor Fisk, which just weirds me out. But when you look at the current mayor of New York, he kind of reminds me of He does, though, doesn't he? big dude, soft spoken, and you always wonder, is he really there for his people? Like, yeah. So Daredevil, this was actually pretty good. If you've been waiting to jump in on Daredevil, if you haven't really been enjoying the last couple issues, I think if you jump in on this one, you will have a good time. So yeah. And now is for the last book of the week that pretty much everybody's waiting to hear if it's great or not. I know. And that is Kate's, Gideon, and Vertov. And of course, we're talking about Venom number 28, Venom Beyond. What do we know? Well, the makers sort of tricked Brock and Dylan into falling through a portal. At the same time, Virus was chasing him. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but Virus is Scorpion, right? Or used to be Scorpion at one point. Is that true? Maybe I'm confused, but I'm pretty sure. At any rate, they were chased through. Virus was pretty much using anti-symbiote technology, and they wound up in an alternate reality where everyone is a symbiote. And I don't mean has a symbiote, is a symbiote. The Avengers were there, and they were made of symbiotes, and it was very strange. And there was what we thought was Null calling himself Codex. It looked like Null. It was like a weird Null clone calling himself Codex. We don't know who that is or if that is Null. Meanwhile, Agent Venom appeared. And everyone was like, oh no, it's Agent Venom, it's Flash Thompson, he's back. And it wasn't Flash Thompson. Who was it? Yeah, it was Annie. It was Brock's ex. And so, yeah, that was wild. Right? Brock's ex, right? Yeah. Yeah. But so there was a lot of confusion. I mean, it's Venom Beyond. We know it's going to be like a dystopian, futuristic sort of society, and we weren't quite clear on how that was going to work out with everything. And it's been awesome. And I will say that this issue in particular, the twists and turns and how things got like thrown around and who the characters are that are hanging out with Annie are mind-blowing. And I don't mean like slightly mind-blowing. I mean like amazingly mind-blowing. And one of them, well, if you know the symbiote history and you know who's actually tied to the early symbiote history that most people don't realize, but he's kind of a wisecracking person, he's in there too. And it's awesome. Yeah. Oh, it's so good. It's so good. It's so good. So again, we all know that the Donny Cates stuff that's on the shelf right now is absolutely amazing, and you should be falling over yourself to buy Venom, and you should be falling over yourself to buy Thor. This issue in particular was just outstanding. Had a great time with it. The great reveal at the end was a bit shocking, and I chuckled quite a few times through it. So the art was, I mean, come on, you know that this Venom run's always got good art. It's like Venom or Thor. Which one's better at this point, art-wise?
Thor's been pretty good.
Thor has been amazing.
Especially after number 6.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, I couldn't pick a favorite right now, man. Like I couldn't. And it's weird to say because after Jason Aaron, I was like, nobody's going to beat Jason Aaron. And then Donny Cates comes around and just blows your mind. And right? Oh, man, I can't wait. So anyways, the must-buy for Marvel this week, and quite possibly my pick of the week for Marvel this week, is definitely Venom, without a doubt. The best book on our shelf right now. So, yeah, we'll have it here. Come pick it up. And I think that's it for our show this week. Anything else to add? Peanut Gallery, anyone? No? We're good?
Come pick up your books.
Come pick up your books. Al, one of our best customers, says, come pick up your books.
You're about to throw more people in the box of shame.
We're going to throw people in the box of shame. So if you're on the chopping blocks, get your butt over here and pick up your books. Okay, so that's our show for this week. We will be seeing you next week. I will be putting on my mask now that I've done it and the deaf community is able to read my lips. I will be going back to wearing a mask for health reasons. And you all should too. So take care. Love you. Bye-bye. Gonna end everything. Wow.
I should have pulled that Batman 89. I didn't request not selling it.
Good. Oh, my bad.
Yeah.